Perfect. Welcome everyone to today's support session. I'm so excited that you're all here, and we are going to be diving into something that hits deep. And it's those moments where you feel like you've done everything right and you're still feeling stuck in the same emotional spiral. So let's say you've journaled or you've gone to therapy, you've taken the quizzes, maybe you've set boundaries, you've done all this stuff, and yet you're here, you're still reacting the same ways, you're still feeling that same ache inside, and you're wondering what the hell is wrong with me. So first, I just want to say, first and foremost, there's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken, but you are probably missing a piece that most of us were never really taught, and that's your body. So today we're going to be talking about somatics and taking a bit of a somatic lens to healing, looking at how the nervous system responds to love, to fear, and to safety. And then I'm going to show you why knowing your patterns isn't enough if your body still feels unsafe. So this is the exact kind of work that we do every week inside of the Relationship Reboot program. If you're looking for more support in actually living this work and not just understanding it, that is where the magic happens. So if you want to know more, just reach out to me at any time, let me know. But I want you to think about this. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I know better, so why do I still feel this way? I want to know in the chat. You guys can let me know. We have a small group tonight, so that's perfect. But I want to know, do you know intellectually in your mind, like I should know better, I should be doing better, and yet you still keep acting the same way or doing the same thing? So just let me know in the chat with a yes. You could tell me a story if you want to. We can dive into it later. Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing. And so I was just reading also what Lisa put and moved, and oh yeah, perfect, Lisa. So yeah, the voices in my head always say that. Yeah, right? Exactly. It's like, why don't you know this already? What's going on? And maybe you've told yourself, I know I'm safe now. I know I deserve love. So why does my body still feel like I'm in danger all the freaking time? This is where today's session is going to get juicy. Oh, hi, Debbie Joe. Nice to see you, hun. Because sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about what your body still remembers. And we're going to unpack that in a way that's real and honest and hopeful. And so as we get started, I'm going to drop the journal prompts for today into the chat. And again, these journal prompts are for you to utilize however you wish this week. You can use them right now to take notes. You can use them in your journals later on, however it is. And that is just a little bit something for you to take away tonight. And as we're walking through today, I want us to really be thinking about first. So we're talking about why insight isn't enough, okay? And this one is going to hit hard. It's like, your attachment style, you've journaled, you've done therapy, you know what to say. But when the time comes, the same spiral keeps happening. You blow up, you shut down, you say something that you ruminate about for days or weeks or months at a time. And that's not because you're doing anything wrong. That part's really important to remember. But it is because understanding something just doesn't mean that your nervous system is ready to get on board yet. And so, second, tonight, we are going to break down how your body holds on to the past. This is where it gets real. See, the body remembers what your mind tries to forget. And those moments when you suddenly feel overwhelmed or shut down or panicky, like you have to fix it right now, those aren't random. And they're not your problem. Like they're not your fault. It's just your nervous system reacting in an old survival loop. And third, we'll look at how to start creating real lasting change. Not by thinking harder or doing more, but by just helping your body feel safer. And this is when we'll stop figuring it out and we're going to start feeling it out. I'm going to share some gentle, doable somatic tools that can help you begin to shift out of survival mode and into something more secure. So, all right, are you all ready to dive in? Type yes in the chat if you are ready to learn why you feel stuck in the same patterns no matter what you do. Yes, yes, all the yeses coming in. Perfect. So let's get going. Let's talk about something that can feel frustrating when you've done all of the work, you've, done the insights, you've done all this stuff, you can name your attachment stance, explain your childhood wounds, everything's going on. So what's going on? Like, what's happening? So there's a book that I love, and I'd love to know. You guys can let me know in the chat. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. Let me know. You could just like raise your hand. I just want to know. I'm sure some of you definitely know this book. The Body Keeps the Score is this beautiful book, and it's by an author named Bessel van der Kolk. And you haven't read it, but you've heard of it. Yeah, it is stunning. I will say it is not an easy read. Uh, Lots and lots of trigger warnings if you are going to go read that book, but it is amazing. Oh, Cheryl, you would love this book. I definitely think you should read this because I know you're like into this stuff too. So he says in this book, being able to feel safe with other people is probably the single most important aspect of your mental health. And yet, trauma makes it incredibly hard to feel that way. And that's the key here. Trauma, it doesn't live in your logic, it lives in your nervous system. Now, I had a client, and I'm just going to call her Marisa, but she was the perfect example of this. She was a middle school counselor. So this means, she knows all about the work and what it takes to heal. She's a counselor. She's been through the psychology department. She knows what she's doing. She's been to therapy. She's read all the books. She knew exactly where her patterns came from. And when we first started working together, she told me, listen, Jen, I know I have a disorganized attachment style. And I know it's because of my parents and the trauma that I went through. And I know that I'm safe now. And I know that I deserve love. So what the hell is going on? What was going on? It was the fact that her mind had caught up, but her body hadn't. I'm just checking the chat real quick too. Oh my goodness, hi Lynette. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to see your I didn't see your face pop up. I just saw you in the chat. That was like such a fun little moment. I've heard that it's not an easy read, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah, it's not an easy read, Cheryl, but it is powerful if you get a chance to do this. So what was going on with Marisa is she just hadn't had a chance to have all of this logic catch up in her body yet. And those moments when her partner was pulling away or he didn't respond to a text, her nervous system still registered danger. And that's what drove her reactions. It wasn't a lack of insight, it was a lack of integration. So until the body feels safe, the mind just cannot override these survival impulses. It's physically not possible. And that's why somatic work is essential in what we do here. And it's not just about understanding what happened. It's about helping your body feel that the danger is over. And here's the thing that most people don't actually realize, which is that your nervous system, it doesn't operate on logic. You can't you can't logic your nervous system to calm down. Like it's like telling a toddler, just calm down, it'll be okay. Like it just doesn't happen. It operates on memory. And it's not just mental memory, it's a nervous system memory. Okay. So Dr. Gabor Mate, he is a leading expert in addiction and trauma. And I totally fangirl over him all the time. But he puts it this way: trauma is not what happened to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. Okay, so let that really sink in. So trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. That's why you can know, your partner isn't a threat, and yet you still panic and pull away when things are happening. You can feel irrationally angry when they get too close, and then that reaction just lives on in your nervous system and not in your rational mind. So for Marisa, we saw this play out in real time. So one day we did a exercise where I asked her to imagine just a common trigger that happens in her relationship. And this is when her partner goes out with his friends and he forgets to check in. And so I asked her, okay, how does it make you feel? Can we sit with that? What's going on? And at first, honestly, she really struggled to feel anything. And I think this is very common. And I want to really honor this common aspect of us where it's hard to feel. And she told me she didn't really feel anything. She just felt numb. Okay, great. I think that's perfect. Numb is a feeling. So let's sit with that. So I said, okay, let's sit with the numbness and see if anything else comes up. And as she continued to tell me about how she worries when he doesn't reach out and she's afraid something happens to him. And, it's all these things from, oh my God, did he die? To, oh my gosh, like he's cheating on me. And all of this stuff is going on in her mind. And as she's telling me this, all of a sudden her body is responding. Her chest got tight, her shoulders tensed up, and her jaw started clenching. And when I asked her to just stay with those sensations, she started tearing up and started panicking. Like you could see it in her body. See, this is why she was numb. because the pain of sitting with the panic was just way too much. And just for full like transparency, we did not move forward with any somatics in that session because it wouldn't have been beneficial to her in that moment. In that session, we decided to leave it and just talk about things on a more logical way because I'm not kidding you when I say this, like body sensation shit is rough. Okay. So it's not your fault if you're sitting here being like, I don't know how to feel this stuff. It's because your body's protecting you. But the cool part about this, and one of the great things about working within a safe container and working with someone that you can trust is, sometimes that heavy stuff, we have to work with it instead of against it. So the next session, she comes in and she says, Jen, I'm ready to sit with this panic because I realized something. And that's when we learned that this panic inside of her was exactly what she felt when her mom would leave her alone at night. And so, do you see what's happening here? Her body wasn't just reacting to her partner, it was also reacting to when it felt like that back then as well. So, to both. And then we also know, just in terms of how this stuff works, is there's going to be other incidences as well that reinforce this. So, it's not just that incident or this incident, it's all of them. And your body holds on to all of it. And this is what I mean when I say the body holds on to the past. Your reactions are not just random. They're not oversensitive or overblown or too much. They're protective, okay? Your nervous system is trying to make sure that you don't get hurt again. And it's really beautiful that it's trying to do that. But it is also costing us relationships now. So that's why we want to work on this. See, when those protective patterns become your default, they start hijacking your relationships and they reinforce the very disconnection that we're trying to heal from. So, that said, once you learn how to notice and work with those responses instead of fighting them, you can start creating a new story. And so, how do we actually start to shift these patterns, right? Because I'm sure you're all wondering, like, great, Jen, this sounds really good. So how do we do this, right? Because we're going back up in our minds again. And that's fair. Everything is about a pendulation. We want to go up and down and go in our body and in our mind. But how do we start to shift these patterns? We don't do it by forcing it or fixing it or trying to figure it out. We do it by feeling it out, by helping the nervous system feel what it never got to feel before, which is safety. We want to make it feel safe. And not just safe in the head, but safe in the body. Now, safety is a felt sense, right? If someone says, I feel safe, like, how would you know you feel safe? I ask that question all the time to people, like, well, how do you know? Like, I just want to feel safe in my relationship. Great. How will you know when you feel safe? And then you just sit there like, I don't know. Right? Because it's a felt sense. And this is why healing takes time, repetition, and gentleness. You're not just changing behaviors, you are building new neural pathways literally within your entire nervous system. So, for my client Marisa, that started with really tiny, small things that we worked on together. Instead of trying to stop the panic or talk herself down out of it or numb herself or distract herself, we started practicing something that was really important, which was just pausing. The power of the pause, right? We're just going to pause and notice what's happening in her body. No judgment, no shame. No, I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's not that big of a deal. Why am I always like this? Sometimes it was just her putting a hand on her chest, kind of helps remind her to pause. Sometimes it was her I can't say that word right now. Orienting. Yeah. Oh, wow, I'm having like a total ADHD moment where I'm like having a word come out of my mouth that I can't like say. Orienting. That's the right word, right? Okay, it doesn't matter. She was grounding herself like around her surroundings. And we could talk about different grounding techniques if you want to later. Or sometimes she just started humming. Humming is something I personally do, so I taught her how to hum. It's not everyone's favorite thing, but this really activated her vagus nerve, and this allowed her to start calming down in the moment. And so over time, her body began to expect safety instead of bracing for abandonment. And then she told me, like, Jen, I don't go from 0 to 100 anymore. I can catch it at 40. And I loved that quote from her because that's a huge win. Because remember, this work isn't about never being triggered again. That's never what we talk about here. I get triggered all the time. It's about recovering faster. It's about being more in control of your emotions and your body and being able to work with them instead of against them. It's about recognizing when you're in a survival state and having the tools that bring you back to connection and to your reality. When your body starts to learn that closeness doesn't equal danger, then you don't have to protect yourself so aggressively anymore. And when that happens, you can actually finally start experiencing the love that you already knew you deserved. And that's what makes somatic work so incredibly powerful. It doesn't replace what you already know, it helps you live it. And so here's what I want you to take away from today specifically is insight alone is just not enough. Yes, we need it. Yes, we need to understand things. And you can know your patterns inside out, but if your body still feels unsafe, you'll keep looping through them over and over again. And not because you're broken or because you didn't figure it out well enough or you haven't learned enough or you haven't read enough books. It's just because your nervous system hasn't caught up to what your mind already knows. So we're just going to give it time and patience and compassion while we do that. And then next, your body holds the past. Trauma is not just in your memories. It's in your muscles, it's in your posture, it's in your gut reactions, it's in all of this stuff. And that's why your body reacts before you even have time to think. Like how many times have like you said something and you wish you could just shove those words right back into your mouth, right? That's just our natural response. And those reactions, they're just trying to protect you. So again, I want to give them credit. I want to honor those past moments that had. Even if they caused harm, they were trying their best. And safety is the starting point. Real healing begins when your body starts to feel safe. That's how you rewire attachment patterns. One small, grounded moment at a time. One deep breath, one softened jaw, one hand over your heart, just saying, "You're okay now. I got you." And that's what the work is that we're doing here. So now if this session brought up any emotions or insights, that's good, that's beautiful, that's movement. And if you do want a safe space where you can keep practicing this work and not feel so alone doing it, that is what we do inside of the Relationship Reboot program. In the program, you have not only community support and access to all of these support sessions, so you don't have to keep asking me about them in the Facebook group, by the way. You get access to all of them. But you also get a 12-step program that I personally created to help you feel safe, seen, and secure in your relationships. And if that is something that you are needing, then I would love to have you in the program. I'm currently opening up 5 spots for the month of May, and I will drop a link in the chat for you if you want to learn more. Just let me know. You can reach out to me privately, or you can just reach out in the chat if you're just sitting there and you're interested because you know that this is something that you need. I just want you all to remember that you do not have to do this alone. You can do this with us. And that's what this work is all about. See, we don't just talk about healing, we live it together. And that's the most important part. So as we're wrapping up, let's go over the journal prompts for the week. And Amanda, thank you. I just looked at the chat. I just got caught up with it. Thank you for putting the prompts up. If anyone still needs the prompts, go ahead and let us know in the chat. We will make sure. Oh, you guys are so chatty. This is good. I'll catch up in a second. If you need them, let us know. Amanda will grab them for you because she is my rock star. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let's go over them. So go ahead and open them up if you have space on your computer right now, and let's go over them together. And I think they're really important today. Where in your life are you relying on insight, but still feeling stuck? So is there something that you know, but you still can't seem to shift it? What might your body be trying to tell you? Okay. I want you to really look into that. And we're going to dig into that question a little bit all together here in the group in just a little bit. So have a think about that question because I'm going to call on some of you or I'm going to ask some of you to kind of speak up and say, where is there a place in your life where you know what to do, but you can't seem to shift it? And then next, I want you to be thinking about this week, what physical response shows up when you feel disconnected or unsafe during a relationship or a situation or anything? Is it a tight chest? Is it a knot in your stomach? Is it just you don't even know? There's just complete numbness. That's actually a physical response that we don't talk about enough. Just try noticing it. That's all I want you to do. Just notice. Just take a little note of it. Let me know. You can even let me know next week if you want to. Or if anything's coming up for you right now, you can let us know in the chat or you can unmute in a little bit when we get to the Q&A and you can let me know. What is that feeling inside of you? And then 3, What is one small way you can offer your body a sense of safety this week? So maybe we can do that too. Maybe we can go around and share experiences of how do you ground yourself. I personally love looking at colors. This was a grounding technique I learned years and years and years ago, which was looking at different colors in the room, grounding myself. What's something I hear? What's something I see? What's something I feel? Something I taste? What all of this does is just ground you back down at the moment. Maybe for you, it's slowing down. Maybe for you, it's a hand on your heart. Maybe it's humming, just pausing before you react. Whatever this looks like for you, the most important thing is that you find something that is sustainable for you to create that safety. See how this is personal for each one of us? And now I want to go ahead and just say thank you all so much for coming tonight. It's such a joy to have you all. I want to open this up to questions that anyone might have about the topic that we just talked about. If you do have a question, go ahead and pop it in the chat.